Hello. So, I met Dan and Phil. Oh my gosh. A month ago today, I met Dan and Phil, and I couldn't really make this video until now because I wouldn't let my brain think about it because I'd have multiple breakdowns. So I repressed it a lot, but here we are. When I found out that Dan and Phil were going on tour, I remember waiting for them to make their announcement, and when they did, I cried my eyes out. I was downstairs and I was just like crying, blasting my Dan and Phil playlist, which I'll link below. Ew. So then I cried a lot because I believed that I was never gonna see them. My internet best friend, she texted me on the day that the tickets started selling, and she was crying her eyes out. She was so sad because her parents wouldn't let her get tickets. They wouldn't let her go. Her name is Bailey. Keep in mind, I have never met her at that point. Like, I had never seen her in real life. We had just been talking for like 3 months maybe. Then on her birthday, it was December 28th, she called me and she was crying, and I was like, what's going on? She tells me, Linny, I got 2 tickets to meet and go see Dan and Phil in LA. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Like, I'm so happy for you. And she was like, no, I want you to go with me. And I was like, I was so happy. And I was like trying not to get my hopes up. I was like, okay, like I'll ask, I'll see if it's okay. We hung up and I went and asked my mom. She was like, yeah, we could probably do that. And I was like, we could probably do that. It was so crazy. At that point, I started counting down from day 225. The day came, August 9th at around 7 a.m. and I woke up feeling absolutely nothing. Like, I didn't believe it was actually happening. Which is funny because the week before I was sobbing my eyes out. We drove down on the 9th, and I remember when we were getting closer and closer to Bailey's hotel, I was like freaking out. When I finally arrived to her hotel, I remember like walking up to the lobby, and I remember seeing her face, and I just ran. The lobby was very small, so everyone was looking at us like, what the hell is going on? We went and we ate lunch, and then we went back to the hotel and we started getting ready, listening to the terrible playlist I made. And then we left to go to the venue to meet them.
Kaylin, what are we doing? I'm gonna pee my pants. Hi, we're going to see Dan and Phil.
The entire time I felt like I was just gonna pee my pants, so that's great. We had to go down through the elevator. The meet and greet was literally in the basement of the venue. The lighting was so bad in there. It's fine, it's cool. We waited in line. We made some friends when we were in line. And then Dan and Phil were like hour and a half late. After sitting there for a good hour and a half, Dan and Phil just popped out of nowhere. I know everyone says this, but they were so tall, and when you see the pictures of me next to them, I look like this big. So then we waited in line. It was kind of starting to set in because I could see Phil from around the corner.
Oh, wow, the love of my life. That's interesting.
Oh my god, I was freaking out. I had to sit down because I was about to pass out or pee my pants. And then finally it was our turn to meet them. So I recorded for my friend first, and she got to meet them first. In the middle of my friend meeting them, my phone like glitched out or something, and she needed my help. And Dan and Phil were like,
It won't unlock. What? No, watch. Oh. Sorry. Hi. Oh my god.
It was so embarrassing. The first thing I said to them was, sorry, hi! After my friend met them, she like came over to me and she started recording, and Dan just screamed, hi there! And I was like, hello! Hello! And I went over to Phil and I hugged him. I I felt like I was hugging him for a good 10 minutes because everyone was like, don't let go of Phil because he won't let go if you don't let go. And I was like, bet. And I was like, I'm gonna hug him forever. I felt like him and he was real and I was hugging him and I was like, yay, I'm so happy. And I was hugging him and I was like, Dan did his little thing to like give me a hug. I remember the feeling of him like touching my shoulders and I was just like, yay.
Do you want me to attempt the rare Polaroid?
You can
Yes.
go. I couldn't say anything to them. It was so crazy. I was just sitting there like holding it like, and he was like, yeah, you do. And he interrupted me and I was like, and then he grabbed it out of my hand and I was like,
Are you kidding me? I'll take a selfie regular first in case we all blink
okay,
the
okay.
camera.
Can we get
Alright.
separate ones too?
Yeah, oh, okay, I'll take this first. And then one here. Awesome. One of us. And then our turn. Thank you, Philip.
No worries. There you go.
Thank
Sweet.
you so much.
I love him. Phil was like, one of us. And I was like, one of us. He's talking about me. Dan was like, now our turn. Thank you, Philip. And I was like, thank you, Philip.
One of us. And then our turn. Thank you, Philip.
And then Phil's humongous hand on my arm. His arm was right here. It was on me and it was freaking humongous. And then Dan just like, he just like looked at my hand with a little smile on his face and he just grabbed it. I look so small compared to them and I didn't really even realize it until I looked at my picture with Dan. Like, he looks like he's 2 feet taller than me. He's only 1 foot taller than me, but he's just so... You know, I'm on crack cocaine. And then when they were signing my Polaroid, I was just looking at them and I remember looking up at them as they were signing it and I was like, you guys are so pretty.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so pretty.
Phil was like, oh, thank you. And Dan was like, thanks for watching our videos. And then Phil gave me the Polaroid and then I walked away from them. And I said, thank you. I literally only said 2 things to them. You are pretty and thank you. But I got to give them a letter. It made me feel a lot better because I said everything I wanted to say in the letter. It was so scary when he was taking the pictures of us. He literally was just like, click, done, here's one of us, here's one of us. And I was like, these are gonna look so awful. The Polaroid came out so good. This is my this is my prized possession. After the meet and greet, they gave us the bag and inside the bag they had this picture and then a duplicate of this picture on a lanyard and then they gave us this bracelet. We went up the elevator and I was standing in the merch line. And when I was standing in line for the merch, I went and looked on Twitter and I made a group chat 2 days before Interactive Introverts with everyone that was going to the LA show and they all took a picture without me and I was like, excuse me. So what we're gonna do, you're all gonna come inside. I'm at the merch line, come see me. Maria, Adrian, and Vanessa came up to me and we all took a picture together and then I got my hoodie. After I went through the merch line, I ran into my friend Elle and she had her friend with her and then I showed her my Polaroid and she was like, oh my gosh, it looks so good. And she started crying and I was like, how are you crying and I'm not crying? It was so weird. Like, I was not phased at all. Like, I remember sitting in the exact same room as them just looking at my pictures like, yep, Dan and Phil are over there taking pictures. I'm over here minding my own business.
I don't know how you're so calm. I'm literally sobbing.
My most vivid memory of Interactive Introverts is when I first saw like the set, when I first walked in and saw the set and the Lady Door remix was playing and I was like, this is my life. Like, this is what my life has come to. I drove 5 hours to listen to a Lady Door remix, so that's great. But I really wanted to meet the rest of the people from my group chat, so I texted in the group chat and I was like, okay guys, I'm gonna stand up, I'm all the way in the front, look for me and like come see me. So I stood up and I started waving my arms. Someone sent a picture of me just rapidly waving my arms in the air, trying to meet everyone. It was a train wreck. I was a train wreck. I didn't mean it was me. I was the train wreck. So that's fun. And then they started playing MCR and everyone had their lights on. It was like, and then all the lights turned off and they came out and then the spotlight went on them and they're like, ooh, why are we here? And then Dan was like, ooh, giving the people what they want, Phil. And then we all lost our shit. It was fun. I remember looking at Dan's hands and his hands were shaking so much and I was like, But after a while, like, he was fine. Everything was fine. He stopped shaking. The first half of the show was like an introduction and it was really funny and they did like their own thing. During the intermission, I took pictures with all my friends again. I met mostly everyone. And then I watched like the rest of the show and it was like watching one of their videos live. Like, it was literally exactly like that. And then they started singing their little song and I was like, go off. When they like shot the fill bucks everywhere, everyone was like passing them back. I got like 5, but I gave them to everyone because I don't need 5 fill bucks. But I do have 1. Dan shot this out of a gun. Love that for him. Oh my gosh, they had to do the song twice because they wanted to do confetti at the end. I don't really know how that works. But I got to hear it twice, so that's cool. When they came out, after the first time that they did the song, they had to come out and be like, sorry, we're gonna do the song again.
Special at the end, so I'm gonna ask you.
He was spitting literally all over the place and he was like, I'm so sorry, like, I'm spitting on you guys. I made the executive decision to scream in the 3rd row while Dan was literally on the edge of the stage. I screamed, spit on me.
Gosh, firstly, I've been spitting everywhere.
Yeah.
Are you guys okay?
It's like a splash zone.
They're saying spit on me. What the hell is wrong with you people? Okay.
He heard me. He heard me scream spit on me. So my last interaction with Dan is me saying spit on me and him saying, what is wrong with you? And honestly, if that's not the best thing you've ever heard, then I don't know what is. And then after they did the second song, it was actually time for them to go. They did the confetti and everything. And they did little heart hands as the like thing was closing and they were like doing little heart hands and I was like, and I did everyone did heart hands back and we were walking out. I was so happy. My friend was so sad. She was crying her eyes out and I was so happy. I was like, why are you sad? Like, we met them, we saw them, everything's great. We had such a good time. Like, you should be happy. And we were walking out and I was like, just like rolling her down in her wheelchair. I was like wearing my hoodie and I was like, this is great, like having a good time. When I was leaving, like I was so happy. I was like, I hugged my friend goodbye and I was like, I'm so glad I got to meet you, like thank you for everything. And I was just so happy and so thankful that I got to meet them, and that's how I've been ever since. I've made so many friends through them and I'm so thankful that I got the chance to meet my friends and meet Dan and Phil, and it was just a really good experience and I'm really glad that I got to do that, and I'm glad I finally got to make this video and share it with you because I know a lot of people on Twitter really wanted me to make this. Thank you so much to Dan and Phil and to all my friends. You guys have made me so happy within the last year. You guys don't even know how much you've helped me, and you guys make me so happy. You guys mean the world to me and I'm so happy I got to experience it. So thank you for watching this entire thing and I hope you have a really good day and I'll see you soon. Bye. That's a waiter problem. I just spilled my hydro flask literally everywhere.